Hey YouTube Void, what's going on? How was your week?
My cat's breath smells like cat food.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I am an artist slash part-time reseller that makes part-time pay slash person who is obsessed with sustainability, saving things from the landfill, climate change is real, and rolling all of that into one lovely video series that is getting maybe a tiny bit of traction. Basically, it's my reality of running a part-time reselling business, which has been a very interesting experience, especially as somebody who grew up financially uneducated, who did not go to business school, and learning in real time what it is like to run this kind of a business.
I'm learning.
You learn a lot about margins and how vastly different the gross profit and the net profit are. The gross profit being what the buyer pays, the net profit being what you take home after everything is said and done, after you take out all the fun things. And yeah, it has been an experience. And I figured if I am having this reality, maybe other people are, because I think there was a time period, especially during the pandemic, where reselling became cool, because it is. But I think there was this understanding, or at least what I was picking up, of like reselling being super easy, that kind of like part-time work for full-time pay thing. And that's not been my reality. And so I've been learning a lot about all of that. And so I figured, hey, if anybody wants to either like feel better about their own reselling business because they're doing well, or maybe like commiserate with me, like, you know, here, this is a safe space. But it's been interesting, and I love reselling. I love history. I love learning about things, like actually the research on stuff that I find. Primarily, a lot of times I'll get stuff in the bins, or I'll sell things for friends. But learning about the item, that's the technical term, item, has been the most fun.
Strike it?
Yeah.
We've done a few shows for Corky before,
Thank
so
you
we know all the
so
terms
much.
already going in. Thanks so much. It was
Thank
really
you.
fun.
Trying to navigate all of this has been such a challenge. But, you know, you will see how low the numbers are. And then, well, maybe not this week, actually, spoiler alert. Some people might be like, well, why do you even resell in the first place? Because it doesn't look like it's worth it. And I'm like, well, because I love to save things from the landfill. So even if I'm making like $2, which is not my goal usually, you know, after everything's taken out, at least, you know, something is getting a new home and hopefully getting used.
I love it. I love it more. I love it.
Yeah, so let's get to the story for this week, which is a lot different from last week, because last week I was complaining, but holy crap. So this week was insane, and I'm getting a little behind. So this week was basically the second week of June. So right now it's like the 20th, but so it's more like almost 2 weeks ago. But holy crap. So as somebody who gets a lot of things from the bins, I don't have a lot of items that are worth like more than $100. So I found this painting, or lithograph, I should say. I am not a painting expert, so I very much erred on the and in my listing, I did mention all of the things that I did not know in regards to this. But anyways, we'll just call it a lithograph. I found it at a thrift store, not at the bins. Basically, it was at it was near where my parents lived. At the time period, my mom was still alive and she had dementia. And I was visiting, helping, at one point we needed to get her diagnosed because she didn't want to go to the doctors. And so it was a very stressful time. So I just popped into this thrift store just to kind of zone out for a little bit, which is what I like to do. I love to look through everything. And I saw this lithograph and it had a gallery sticker on the back. So it was on sale for $20. I think I got a discount because they had a special discount for the day. And it just looked really cool. And then I just quickly looked up the artist, and I mean, the artist is very well renowned, and so it looked legit. So I was like, you know what? Let me take a chance and purchase it, which I did. And I did not get it authenticated. In a perfect world, I would. When I looked up comps, $720 is actually pretty cheap for one of his works, especially if it's legit. But I did get messages throughout the years for good or for ill, I didn't want to spend the money to get it authenticated, so I just gave all the information. I said, here's the gallery sticker. I do not know any more information. I am not, authorized to sell fine art. Because I figured that, somebody could buy it, and if they wanted to make a profit, they probably could. But $20 into $720, I'm happy. And the full circle moment is that the thrift store, which is called Hope Chest, the money from the thrift store actually goes to a hospice house in the area where my family was. And my mom ended up staying there towards the end of her life. So it was a very full circle moment. Maybe she was looking out for me a little bit with the sale, but yeah, insane. Oh my gosh. This is actually now I've sold a couple things high priced. I sold a military beret for $500. I've sold a couple things for over $100 or $200. This is has blown it all out of the water. With a big sale comes a lot of stress. And I've seen on Facebook groups where people have had large sales and then had issues. There are sometimes people who will take advantage, who will scam. There's also, especially when it comes to a painting, is it going to get there in one piece? Maybe I didn't list something correctly. There was so much stress with packaging it up. I did go to UPS. It cost me $30 to pay them to package. However, I will say that when they gave me the package back, the painting, and they wrapped up the painting well, with bubble wrap, and put it in a frame box. But the lithograph, was moving around. And I was so I actually had to go back and get them to redo it. They also have this pack and ship thing where they will then take responsibility if it breaks.
With certified packing experts to help ensure that your masterpiece gets delivered perfectly every single time.
I didn't mind having to pay $30 for the packaging. Like I said, I was super nervous about that. I'd never shipped off a package like that, and because of the amount, I really didn't want to leave it up to chance. But But when they went to like charge me for the shipping, they charged me retail rate, which most people use like Pirate Ship or eBay. And it was going to be like $80. And that's without any like insurance. That's without signature confirmation, which I was going to need. And so I was like, why don't you package it? I will go home. I will get the label. And then I'll bring it back. And they're like, great, blah, 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 blah. So I go and I print out the label and I bring it back. And that's where I had them repackage it because I had noticed it moving around. And I was like, I was just offhanded. I was just like, okay, so, you guys, I purchased insurance, but I was like, you guys are responsible like for in case anything happens, because I was a little nervous after that they had like already not packaged it up correctly. And they're like, nope, you didn't pay for our shipping label here, so we're not responsible. So I was like, okay, you packaged it, and if something happens to it, you're going to take no responsibility, which I guess is fine. And they're like, nope. And I was just like, great. So, but my shipping label was like $50-something, and theirs was like $78, $80. And I was like, and with all the other stuff would have been like $90. And I was just like, I mean, when I package up stuff, that's why I paid to have somebody package. When I package up stuff, I'm responsible. If the thing breaks, that is on me, and I will make it right. Full stop, right? But apparently, that's not the way it works at UPS. So next time around with a valuable lithograph, if I ever find one again, I will maybe go to another like not another UPS, but another store, like a shipping store, and like, or maybe I'll contact a frame store, or you know what, maybe I'll figure out how to do it.
Oh, fudge. That's broken. Fiddle-dee-dee. That will require a tetanus shot.
Anyways, it got there okay. Or at least I hope it's okay. I haven't heard anything from the buyer. I haven't had any feedback. I haven't heard zero. So I'm just crossing my fingers. As amazing as selling something at that price point, which by the way then meant, because I think the rest of my week was pretty like subpar, but because I had that one sale, it was like it blew every other week out of the water. But like having those kind of sales like can really set you up. So I think like my lesson from this, besides like learn packaging and maybe not go to UPS for it, was like, what you want to do is you do want to sell higher priced items. However, I'm sure everybody's like, I want to sell all the expensive stuff. However, those come with their own sets of problems. Somebody purchasing something for $10 is going to be probably a little bit more understanding than somebody who purchased something for like $1,000, because that's a lot of money. Unless maybe they're a gajillionaire and like, or Elon Musk, and it's dropping in the bucket to them. But there is the stress of making sure it's well packaged. There is the stress of making sure nothing goes wrong. There's the stress of what if there's a scammer. There's the stress of all of it. And also too, like finding those things. Like if I'm looking for stuff at the bins, how many times am I going to find a painting that's worth $700? So that's what I'll take away from all of that. But wow, it was insane. And I'm so excited and happy and crossing my fingers that I don't get a notification every time now. It'll probably be for the next few weeks I get a notification on eBay. I'm like, so anyways, woohoo! What are we going to do to celebrate? Nothing. No, I just, I had to pay for these Invisalign things, and it was like $6,000. So that money went to there. So it's already gone. Made a little bit of a dent. But yeah, so there are those weeks that you have where you have those kind of sales, and it's, like I said, both terrifying and exhilarating at the same time. So yay. Also, whoever purchased it, I hope you love it. Or if you're, you know, taking it and selling it as well, like, go for it. Like, just thank you. Super happy.
Help me, I'm poor.
So if you're new here, and honestly only 1 or 2 people watch my videos, so it's quite possible, what I do is I go through my weekly sales and I get to what I lovingly refer to as my pre-net, which is another term that I created. You know, if you don't have business experience, you just create all these fun terms and things that people are probably like, you're an idiot. And I'm like, yeah, fair. But it's been the easiest way for me to figure out this whole thing. So going back to the pre-net, every week I get to my pre-net. And basically what that is we take what the buyer pays and we take out the platform fees. And generally the platform also has taken out like stuff like sales tax, etc. And then I also take out any shipping labels that I have to purchase, which is primarily on eBay. And I also take out any commissions that I have to pay out. I do sell a few things on commission. After watching, I've been obsessed with the bricks and minifigs saga. I was like obsessed with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, and now I'm onto bricks and minifigs. But they talk about consignment, and it's like, I don't do that. Like, I have a few friends who give me a few things to sell, and, you know, and I sell for them. But anyways, I take out the commission, and that is basically my pre-net.
You have my undivided attention.
Then at the end of the month, I take that amount that is my pre-net, and I take out everything else that needs to be taken out, which is basically store subscription, my cost of goods, my donations. 50 cents from every sale goes to the Second Harvest Food Bank, which is my way of giving back, my empathic capitalism. Also, any shipping supplies or things that business related expenses. And then from that amount, I then hold 30% for taxes, because that's what the internet tells me to do. And then I get to my net, and it is it ends up being anywhere from a third to a fourth of what my gross profit is, which is insane. And which is what a lot of like, even like brick and mortar stores, talk about, like the margins being super important. So you get to see the embarrassing numbers. But this week, we're just going to get to our pre-net. The only other thing that I do is generally my sales that I talk about for the day or the day that I take them to the post office, not when they actually sell. So generally on Monday, my sales will be from like the weekend. So that's pretty much about it. So shall we get started with this insane week? Yeah. Like I said, I had one huge sale and then the rest of the week was like really, really sucky. But hey, I am also like in a show right now, which I'm really excited about. I don't think I can talk about it yet because it hasn't been announced, but I'm in rehearsals like 5 days a week, all day. So there's not been a lot of time to like work on my reselling business. You know, I have a lot of stuff listed online, but I'm not able to like put in as much work as I would like to. Basically, there's a lot of just maintaining and like making sure that I get stuff out the door when it sells. There's a lot of justification in that. I am realizing that we humans love to justify everything because it's helpful to our existence. And this is no exception. But anyways, let's get to it.
Finally!
So as I mentioned, my large sale came in on a Sunday. So it's going to be in this one. Wait for it. Monday, we had 5 sales, all of them on eBay. It was a pretty good weekend for sure. We had this belt box vocal portable dampener. I actually had gotten this as a present. It's like helpful when you need to like belt and like when you're singing, belting, like when you're singing loud is what I like to call belting. And this is like especially really great like in New York where noise is an issue. I never used it because I didn't need it in LA. I drive so much that I don't have to worry about warming up or being as loud as I want because, I'm in my car. So I didn't really need this. So I decided it needed to go to a good home. So it sold for $32 with $10 shipping. And eBay released $37.25. Then we had this VTech Switch and Go talking T-Rex figure. It sold for $10 with $5 shipping, and eBay released $12.59. Then here we go. This framed, signed Jonathan Green lithograph. Woohoo! Holy crap. It sold for $725 with $45 shipping, and eBay released $663.99. Next, we had this new Rockabye Baby infant knitted outfit. It sold for $10 with $5.50 shipping. eBay released $12.87. Then we had 2 antique dresser scarves. I've been selling these they've been going like gangbusters. I'm probably under pricing them, but they're selling for a friend. So, and I think she just wants them to go to good homes. So they sold for $56.50 total together, and $6.11 shipping, and eBay released $54.12. As you can see right now, eBay does not do what Poshmark does, and when people buy things in a bundle, they charge, if I have flat rate shipping charges, so they just charge it all. And so there was way too much money charged. Actually, the person who purchased these sent me a message about doing a refund with the shipping price because she was paying, I think, $14. And I was like, of course, I'm not about to try and make a shit ton of money off of shipping. So the actual shipping cost was $6.11, and I refunded her the rest, which is where that amount is. I know people who make a lot of money on eBay are like, this is nothing, but for me, this is a really big deal, really big. So I'm just going to revel in it for a moment. So the amount released to me from the platforms was $780.82. But we do need to take out quite a bit of stuff. First, I'm going to take out the $30 that I spent at UPS for the packaging. I probably could tack that on at the end of the month, but I'm just going to put it on this one. Then I have 5 shipping labels, which were $5.73, $9.94, $8.13, $6.61, and $55.20. I'm sure you can guess which shipping label was for the lithograph. I also, for the dresser scarves, I sold those on commission, so I have to give $23.75 to my friend. And so after all that fun stuff is taken out, my take home was $641.46. Not bad. Still in shock. Even though this was almost 2 weeks ago. On Tuesday, we had 3 sales, 2 on eBay, 1 on Poshmark. On eBay, we had the SpongeBob SquarePants tank. It sold for $6 with $4 shipping. Talk about going from my highest sale to literally this. I've had this forever, and obviously I made zero when the actual shipping is going to be taken out. eBay released $8.25. Pretty sure I'm going to end up making $1 or $2. Then we had this Betsy Johnson multiple heart keychain. It sold for $10 with $4.75 shipping. eBay released $12.36. Side note, I got a notification after this keychain was delivered, was something about the buyer not being on the platform anymore, and so they canceled the order. And I was like, I've had this happen before, but it's they're do not ship out the item. I'm like, dude, I would have gotten a ding if I had waited that long, because it was literally a week or so later. And I'm like, it's already been delivered. There's nothing I can do about it. Anyways, eBay had already released the money to me, so there's nothing I needed to do. But it was I guess they can't give feedback. I don't know. It's okay, eBay. Maybe you should look at your internal records to see it, it's been delivered. So that notification was unnecessary, but I'm sure AI is doing that. So way to go, AI.
Oh yeah, someone's been a bad computer.
On Poshmark, we had this Anthropology burgundy gauze dress. It sold for $14 and Poshmark released $11.05. So the amount released to me from the platforms was $31.66. But we have two shipping labels, $6.24 and $5.71. Yeah, so like I said, that SpongeBob tank basically is like $1 profit. And so after that's taken out, my grand pre-net for the day was $19.71. What a difference a day makes. On Wednesday, we had two sales, one on eBay, one on Poshmark. On eBay, we had this book, How Does the Show Go On? It sold for $10 with $4 shipping, and eBay released $11.24. Then on Posh, we had a Trina Turk drawstring bag. It was new. It had tags still on it. It sold for $20, and Poshmark released $16. So the money released to me was $27.24. We had one shipping label, which was $5.97, for a grand pre-net of $21.27. On Thursday, we had 0 sales, and then on Friday, we had 2 sales. Again, one on eBay, one on Poshmark. Like I said, it was a pretty lackluster week besides that weekend. On eBay, we had a New York & Company Bohemian tiered skirt. It sold for $10 with $6.15 shipping. eBay released $13.70. And on Poshmark, we had this Columbia Boys Endless Explorer nylon jacket. It sold for $12. Poshmark released $9.05. So the amount released to me was $22.75. And then we had a shipping label, which was, $8.12. And so my grand pre-net was $14.60. I've talked about this before, but if you're new, I do flat rate shipping. We are seeing in real time the fact that I have a death pile right there. Hey, death pile, what's up? Yeah. And so I'm trying to get through it all. But in that process, I don't generally update my shipping charges. And the post office has had so many increases that it's like becoming kind of laughable about the difference that the buyer's paying and the amount that I'm actually paying. Like, for example, being that this skirt, I charged $6.15 for the shipping, and it actually ended up being $8.12. So I should probably update that. In my non-business minded, financially uneducated brain, I guess I figure that's like my own form of like a coupon. Like, that's generally actually why I don't do coupons, because if you go and purchase one of my older listings, you'll get a discount, especially on the shipping. So, but is that smart? Probably not. And do I need to update that? Yes. So that is on the list. But I'm just, for anybody who's like yelling at the screen, being like, you're an idiot, A, fair, and B, like, I'm working on it. Yeah. My pre-net for the week was almost as much as some of my like totals for the month. It ended up being $697.04. Yay! Yeah. So what a week. What a roller coaster. It doesn't mean I'm set for the month. But it is nice. I don't have any more like lithographs for $720. Like I said, I think I have like 2 items above like $200 maybe. So what are we going to do? Find more expensive items, right? Yeah, find more valuables. Go for it, Rachel. Just go to the bins. Go find them. We keep trekking. Right now we're on maintenance phase until at least I get out of rehearsals for my show. It's the commitment is a lot, and just making sure that I like send things out in a timely manner is going to be my main priority. So I'm trying to get to the point where I'm at least listing 30 things a week, and I feel like that's like even like a low bar, but it's very difficult right now. Because I don't have a lot of time. Plus, I'm having to learn lines, and there's, life and stuff. So we're working on it. We'll see what happens this next week. And yeah, if you made it this far, thank you. Like, I appreciate you. No need to like or subscribe, or I've got nothing to sell you here. No affiliate links, no anything. I just appreciate you. And, I honestly feel like we've commoditized YouTube so much and it's getting so annoying. Like, I watched this one guy on YouTube and he wrote a book, because everybody writes a book, especially if they're in politics right now. And it wasn't enough for him to promote the book at the end of the video. Now, even like his 10-minute videos, there's like an ask in the middle. And I'm like, between that and the affiliate links and the memberships and the commercials, because if you don't pay for, YouTube to not have commercials, you get them. Yeah, it's a lot. And so I'm like, you know what? You work hard and you are, and you discern what you like to watch. And I'm not going to do anything to try and make any more money. I'm just doing this for fun. I'm doing this to show the reality, to maybe make somebody feel better about their own reselling profession because they're doing so much better than me, or maybe to, for somebody to understand that maybe if they're having a difficult time, it's not just them. It is, I think, more difficult than a lot of resellers like to point out sometimes, because, the $720 sale is exciting and maybe people will click on it because of that. But that's not the reality. Like, this was an awesome thing that happened, but the reality is more like dealing with things that normal businesses do, which is messages and being specific about the listing and getting stuff out on time and like the day-to-day stuff. So, it's exciting. And I think we like to show the excitement because that inspires people. And I think that's great. But, we can do both at the same time. I'm also like, when we talk about empathic capitalism, besides my donations, I do like to do some volunteer work and stuff. One time I brought pizza to the people at the bins. That was super fun. Right now I am so busy that I'm having a hard time doing that. But once things calm down a little bit, it's time to get back out there and to be a part of the solution. Yeah, that's it. A little bit shorter, hopefully, than last time. Take care. Thank you. Carpe Diem, y'all. And let's do this. Let's sell more $720 lithograph paintings. Let's do it. Awesome. Take care. Bye.
I know something else that makes music. Can you guess?
No. What?
I'm using it right now. La 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 la.
Talking? Oh, your voice?
One beautiful voice.
That's right. Your voice is an instrument too. Well, you can sing notes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can make music anytime.